The most destructive arguments in a relationship rarely begin with shouting. They start in the quiet spaces. They brew in the hesitations, the omissions, and the moments right before words are actually exchanged. Consider a typical dynamic between two partners, Alex and Jamie. Alex wants to finalize holiday plans to visit family and pushes for a clear commitment to know exactly where they stand. In response, Jamie freezes, offering only hesitation. This diagram represents silent scrutiny. Silent scrutiny is a psychological state where an individual feels intensely observed and evaluated by their partner during a simple interaction. Jamie feels placed under a psychological microscope, acutely aware that any response to Alex's request will be heavily judged. Under this intense pressure to perform, a simple scheduling question turns into a trap. Stating true boundaries suddenly feels too dangerous to risk. Jamie's mind is running rapid calculations. Saying no risks looking difficult, selfish, or unsupportive in Alex's eyes. The pressure to conform to unspoken desires overrides the instinct to be honest. This triggers the preservation of perceived value. The preservation of perceived value is a social defense mechanism where an individual outwardly agrees to a request specifically to maintain a high-status image of being agreeable and cooperative. To avoid the immediate conflict, Jamie says yes to the family holiday. The response buys temporary peace in the room, but leaves Jamie feeling entirely trapped by a commitment they never actually wanted to make. Buying short-term peace with a false agreement constructs an unspoken contract that cannot be fulfilled. It sets the stage for inevitable betrayal. Time passes, facing the reality of the upcoming trip. Jamie quietly makes alternate holiday plans with friends. The original agreement with Alex is completely abandoned, but Jamie says nothing. This animation shows internal conflict, a psychological clash between the drive for personal autonomy and the social inhibition against disappointing a partner. When these forces collide, the brain defaults to a behavioral freeze, complete communicative inaction, where the individual cannot decisively commit or confess. Jamie is caught between a personal desire and an external expectation. The inability to reconcile the two forces creates total behavioral paralysis. Jamie deliberately keeps the changed plans a secret. Instead of bringing up the shift, Jamie relies on the entirely baseless assumption that Alex will somehow just know about the new plans with friends. This graphic demonstrates the zero-signal strategy, a defensive tactic where individuals attempt to avoid vulnerability by projecting a completely neutral communicative stance. But it backfires. A partner rarely interprets silence as neutral, instead interpreting the absence of a signal as a deliberate, hostile manipulation. Attempting to send no message achieves the exact opposite of neutrality. It amplifies paranoia and builds a massive wall of distrust. The truth finally surfaces. Alex learns about Jamie's alternate plans from a third party and immediately confronts Jamie with the reality of the broken contract. Jamie's reaction is explosive. Feeling cornered, Jamie accuses Alex of being controlling, demands autonomy, and physically walks away from the conversation entirely. This diagram displays cognitive overload. Cognitive overload happens when the brain initiates an input tunneling protocol, shutting down rational processing and clear communication to escape high emotional threats. Jamie's explosive walkout is a physiological system failure, triggered by unmanaged psychological stress, not an act of calculated malice. The brain prioritized immediate escape over resolution. In the aftermath, Alex is left feeling confused and unheard. Jamie's temporary escape provided physical distance, but it deeply fractured their connection. This is the ultimate cost of the unspoken contract. Jamie avoided short-term discomfort by hiding the truth, but that choice simply transferred the emotional burden, with interest, directly onto Alex. To survive these dynamics, partners have to stop listening strictly to the explicit words being spoken. They must begin reading hesitations, non-committals, and physical withdrawals as vital data that points to hidden conflicts. The comfort of a false agreement destroys connection. Genuine trust is built through the explicit courage to speak uncomfortable truths.